Hello and welcome to the after-match analysis of tonight's game, which was Tottenham versus Manchester United. And tonight we will be discussing the pros and cons and what you people thought of the game, and we're going to get some major interaction going here tonight. So you're right, Mark. How are we doing? So let's kick off with what did we think of the game? What did we think? So Mark, I see you're in the comments, mate. What did you think? What was everyone's thoughts about the team sheet? What was everyone's thoughts about Mr. Pogba being on the bench? Hi, Pangard. Right, yeah. Right, can you just let me know if you can hear me all right? Yeah. Because I'm a bit worried that I'll fuck this all up. So just let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. But Matic changed the game, says Pankaj. Mark says Pogba and Greenwood changed the game. So a split difference there already. I did think Pogba had an impact, volume, and video is fine, mate. Brilliant. Okay, wicked. Right, Rodney's in it. Rodney, you're here. Right, I can't. How do I do this? How do I add him in? Is it? There we go.
I see. I did that. I jumped in.
Mate, this is so easy. This is so easy to do. Absolutely fantastic. So, right. So Pankar says Matic changed the game for him. Mark says Pogba and Greenwood changed the game. What are your thoughts?
I mean, the move by Pogba down by the line was probably the best bit of the game in terms of created chances. It was a clear penalty. Good footwork. Dyer got sucked in. From his point, poor defending, but Pogba looked good considering he's been off for a long time. But do you know what? I really wanted 3 points. It's not the end of the day. It's not the end of the world, should I say, for a draw. But I would probably say that out of the two managers, Ollie's probably happier with the result than Jose is, definitely. But yeah.
Right. So let's talk about that manager-wise. Spurs. Do you know what? I don't like blaming people, but I got to say, a keeper of the highest quality should be saving that.
Yeah.
Bergwijn. Even if there is a slight swerve to the game, it's still within arm's reach. He should be palming that away for me. But I suppose in a way you can forgive him. It's been 3 months, so it's going to take a couple of games to go back in, to get back into the groove. Red Devil says Greenwood was superb. I thoroughly enjoyed watching Greenwood tonight. I thought the trickery, the pace on that right-hand side. I didn't think Dan James was as effective as he could be. But as soon as Greenwood come on, it was perfect.
Dan James is a pace merchant. He is. He's the real life version of Dash from The Incredibles. He's fast, but yeah, he is. But Greenwood is different. They're saying that Greenwood is going to be the United striker for many years to come. He's a natural finisher. He's still a young kid. He's still got, what is he, 18, 19? He's still developing. So, the fact that he's getting game time now is good. Kind of reminds me of what it was like for when Rashford came onto the scene at that age, 18, 19. So we're probably not going to see the best of him until he's 22, maybe 23. He looked good.
Right. Next thing I want to bring up, right? But there was a bit of a debate when we did the preview last week on Sunday, right? I was all for Brandon Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, starting this game. After watching Luke Shaw tonight, again, I don't like to single people out, but the amount of space that was given on our left-hand side in the first half, right, is absolutely unreal. Now, Luke Shaw might like to bomb forward, but he's got to come back as well. He's got to be tighter to Bergwijn, and Aurier that was going out there on the right-hand side as well.
Yeah.
So that only, for me, that only made it a bit more concrete that Brandon Williams should be starting the next game. What do you think?
Do you know? I can understand what you're saying. For me, Brandon Williams, I like him. It's what Ole wants. We were surprised that Pogba was on the bench, to be fair, because I thought he would have started, even though I was indifferent to him starting. He was the difference. With Shaw, he's ended the season well. Played left of a three, then left back. The issue about space behind Shaw was something that Jose used to talk about all the time, and everyone would say Jose's picking on him. That's just what happens. He needs someone in front of him. That's why Ollie plays Williams on the left-hand side. He plays another defender because he knows if he plays someone who's slightly more attacking, like Rashford or Martial, they're not going to track back. So I can see what I don't know if you'd swap them out or you change the formation so that Williams comes in and Luke Shaw still plays as a three, because I was surprised. I looked and I said, like, Lindelof came off, and I was thinking, I didn't see what happened there. So, the error for me with regards to the goal, Bergwijn attacked the space in the middle. He literally went between Maguire and Lindelof, and he accelerated. And, you could blame Shaw for that, but the other areas where I think there was a cross to Bergwijn and he got back and he just cleared it in time. The cross was so slow. It allowed Shaw to get back. If that cross had any pace, he would have probably fouled him to get back. So, yeah, questions for sure.
Now, United Alex says the fullbacks were poor, right? So we've just discussed Luke Shaw there. What do you think of Wamba tonight?
I've seen him have better games. I'm not saying he had a bad game, but I've seen him be more productive going forward. It's difficult. This is, like I say, this is the first game back after such a long time, kind of trying to pin people down to what they were doing before the break and saying their performances are such a long time. For them, this is worse than having a pre-season and not getting the full friendlies out, because they have to be. Yeah.
Well, I was just saying, do you think us as fans then expected too much?
I think we were hopeful. I was hopeful.
The anticipation got to us.
Yeah. You got to put that into consideration. We were expecting a win. All of us would probably win. Whoever we support was saying our team's playing tonight, we're going to win. We've still got to factor in, match fitness. There were so many players that didn't look up to par, like on both teams. On both teams, they looked tired. They looked like leggy. I'm just thinking, even though they've had a break, this is, when your brain says June is not the time to play football unless it's a World Cup. Their brain has probably said, I should be on the beach.
Now, Pankaj just brought up an interesting thing. Dean Henderson, who we talked about again on the last show. De Gea, he could have saved that. Looking at the replays again, he could have saved it. He could have palmed it away. It was well within his reach. But would Dean Henderson make those saves that De Gea made once the goal had gone in? There was a header from Son, I think, at the back post.
Yeah, the Son header.
Again, showing the athleticism and agility that he's got. Put that mistake, if that's what he was thinking, behind him and was straight back into action. Now, do you think Dean Henderson is ready for that sort of level? Do you think he can do that now? Or would you give it another year at Sheffield United and see what happens?
It's really, any keeper would expect to make saves like that. They let one in. If another chance comes along, they would expect to make it. So it's difficult, really, to say that Dean Henderson wouldn't make it or he would. We talked about De Gea having, coming into the best period of his life, and he should, no one should be getting rid of the keepers. We bought, Van der Sar at 34. And United go on to do something fantastic.
Yeah.
De Gea, every player is going to have a bad time. It's just that for him, when you look back at that goal, You look at the save and you just think, how did you not stop that? You went. It just looked like an odd reaction. He went with his right hand when his left hand was closer. It didn't look like he adjusted his feet. Uh, yeah, I was puzzled to look at it and think, you let that in, but then the Son cross, even though it was a good save, he does go again with his right hand.
Yeah,
he doesn't save it with his left. Like with the shot from Martial, we scooped it off and it looks like it's destined for the top corner. Lloris saves with his left, whereas De Gea went with his right. And I'm just thinking to myself, sometimes, you know, you can see a goalkeeper's strength in their feet, but when it's their hands, if they're not comfortable going with either hand, it shows. And I think for the goal that United conceded, De Gea, his natural reaction was to go with his right hand, and it just, you know, the power scooped it in. Yeah.
Well, so Pankaj has got a question here for you then, Rob. Well, not really sort of a question, but he's put, Rodney, I think it's a bad result for Spurs more than us.
Yeah,
do you agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark says the same. They needed 3 points more than us.
Yeah. This is momentum. This is what you want is momentum from the gate. That's what you need. This is what you call this. This is these last 9 games, and this is not the season. This is the sprint. This is the 100-yard dash. You need to get off the blocks, even though it's like a point each. Spurs are still behind. You know, it's like the stat. You know, when you watch the relay, and you're back in lane 2, and you're in lane United are in lane 4. You're just thinking, yeah, you're not closing that gap. That's where they are. So a point is great.
The big boy reckons Shaw was so poor as well. We've already touched on that, Ross.
Yeah, he was
space that was down the left hand side.
Yeah.
Martial. Now, I was disappointed with the lineup. I really thought Rashford should be through the middle and Martial out the left. And again, watching Martial's hold-up play tonight, he's not a natural fit for a striker. I know he's probably the best at what we've got now.
Yeah.
But he can't hold the ball up. He prefers to run with the ball and attack. And I don't think the number 9 suits him at all.
Do you know what? It's really difficult because I don't. Normally, I never say anything about service. I don't believe in the first half he got the service.
9 touches in the first 1.
Yeah, he never got the service, and when the ball did come to him, it didn't stick. And you know, the pivot and to for the shot was great. I thought that's what you needed. But in terms of the link-up play, very difficult. I never saw much link-up between him and Rashford. I never saw much link-up between Martial and James. Yeah, I mean, in terms of a front three, when you look at it, you thought great. But I don't recall anything that stood out for me and says, yeah, they did something fantastic together. And Ollie's looking at that and thinking, yeah, I'm not bringing on Greenwood. You knew Greenwood was going to come on at some point. You knew. Martial... The difficulty with putting Rashford in the middle, right, is that Rashford doesn't necessarily always enjoy, because he wants to play, he wants to attack the space. United don't play the through ball. I'm not saying he can't. It's a role that he's got to learn. But, you know, if you asked Rashford, you know, you said, where do you want to play? He wants to play out on the left. Martial wants to play out on the left. Dan James wants... In fact, Dan James, all of his goals have come from when he was on the left. Yeah, so
I was going to bring that up, and then tonight he's out the right, and you see how ineffective he is. So, I mean, going forward then, Mr. Pogba started on the bench. Right decision for me.
I was surprised, considering all of the fanfare that was around. Yeah, I was surprised.
Did you'd have given in to the fan pressure then to start him?
No, I'm not. So I would have given in. I thought Ollie would have given in. I believe it was probably right to actually start with the team that ended before the break, to give them, you know, because they didn't do anything wrong. You know, victories against Man City.
Mark has said at half-time Martial should have gone off for Igalo. Yeah,
do you know what? I can't argue against that.
No,
yeah, I can't argue
there
with
is
that.
an argument for that. Because, like I said, the stats they said at half-time, 9 touches in the first 45 minutes, and that's your main number 9 there. You want to be more than that.
Do you know what would be interesting is to find out the comparison between Martial and Harry Kane, because he didn't. But as a Spurs fan, you're looking at that and thinking Harry Kane played, but he's not a fit Harry Kane.
No, but
You know,
he was
he
still
looked.
quite effective. You know? He still held the ball up pretty well, I thought.
Yeah,
For
he held the ball up, but you know, I've seen a Harry Kane do much more
Mm,
for Spurs.
yeah,
You know, and Sissoko, they said he didn't even have a touch in the first half. Well, I don't know if that's possible for a midfielder.
yeah.
So I would,
I really thought our midfield three would have dominated theirs. To be honest, I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
expect Sissoko. Uh, I was disgusted with Lamella
yeah.
about 20 minutes into
Well,
the first half.
yeah.
He got away that I saw at least five fouls. He
Mm.
should have been carded for the one where he went into the back of was it Fred on the break? I think
Yeah, you
possibly.
know, it's really funny because I did say to Ross, you know, it'll be interesting to see who gets the first yellow. And I
Mm.
think by half time, when I looked at the stats, United were the first team that got the first yellow. But that tackle, you know, when he kind of went in, I mean, he didn't use studs, but he did clean him out. And I just thought that's where the referees he's used this judgment, knowing this is the first game back after a long
Yeah,
period of time. I'm going to allow you that kind of like, you know, your timing's off. If that
I've never been
was,
a fan of John Moss anyway.
yeah, if that was, you know, November, you know, that's a yellow straight away because they're not going to let that go. But first game back after a lengthy break, you know, humidity, 20-minute breaks, all of that stuff. I think that the referee kind of played it right, but at the same time, I was surprised he didn't get a card before because I mean, he didn't hold back in any of the challenges, and they weren't. I would say the only time that the challenges looked to get a little bit fruity was probably around about the 70th minute, 75th minute, when you could see, or maybe the 80th, the legs were going. And the legs were going, and I was like thinking, I can't run now. I just got to slide in, or I've got to do all that other stuff. But yeah. So yeah,
Vance in the comments singing Pogba's praises. Now I've got to say, right, for a guy that's been out since what was it, September, October?
yeah. I think he's been out since 2010, hasn't he?
um, I've got to say, I was very impressed, mate, with his energy
Mm,
levels when he came. I know it was only
yeah,
for what 25 minutes, half an hour, but he put in his first thing in the game was slide tackle out on
yeah,
the left hand side.
yeah,
And fair play to him. He got the ball
yeah,
and he played a great
yeah,
one too. I think it was with Rashford that was there.
yeah,
Um, and the skill that he showed going down the right hand side by the byline for the penalty.
yeah,
I was very impressed. Very
yeah.
impressed with how he played today. He played some great, fantastic first time balls over the top. I thought Bruno Fernandes laboured off towards the end.
Mm.
Um, again, a great first time ball around about the 85th minute from
Really,
just outside our box over into their off.
yeah.
And the defender intercepted it. If he hadn't have intercepted it, Rashford was on his way. He was gone.
Well, there was the link-up play between. I think it was the ball into Bruno, and he kind of flicked it one way, and he kind of slotted it in between the centre backs to Martial, literally
Mm.
to his feet. And you thought, and Martial's he didn't react quick enough because Dyer got to him. If this game had been played in March, Dyer would never have reacted quick enough because he wasn't moving that quick at that point in time. So his fitness has improved, but um, that was a great chance, and it was a really good through ball by Bruno to Martial. And to be honest, when I say that Martial didn't have enough chances, that was a key moment for him. So Bruno's passing there, slick. I mean, they both played well, but I will say this: a draw, probably a fair result. But if you looked at the stats, United bossed that in terms of possession.
Yes.
Yeah, they will look at it and think we should have won that game. But Jose will probably be more upset that they didn't win the game.
Well, if you look at the chances created, I mean, Rashford had the chance in the first half, which Lloris
Yeah,
saved with his legs.
yeah,
Martial had a fantastic opportunity. I screamed at my phone, why didn't he go low to Lloris's right
yeah,
instead of trying to dink it up and over him?
yeah,
And I
yeah,
thought, man, why didn't you just fucking put your laces through that in the bottom corner? And this is what infuriates me with him. This is why I think he's not a natural striker
yeah,
because some things it seems. I know it seems easy when you look at the telly and you're looking at what they're doing, but that was the sort of chance you just put your laces through and hope for the best and it goes in. But yeah, I mean, chances wise, I can't remember. I mean, apart from the De Gea save, the one-hand right save after the goal, I can't think of much else he had to do.
No, I'd say that this is this was a Spurs team that have got fit players returning, but in terms of caliber, they're not on the same level as Man United. Jose's got a big job in his hands in terms of what he's going to try and get out of that team. From a Man United point of view, that is a good performance. Like I say, they probably would have wanted all 3 points, but they spent the bulk of the game behind on by a goal. It's a good start. It's a good start. It's not the end of the world. It's not the worst result to have for either team. But yeah, I believe Ollie will be happier with the result, even because it means that Spurs don't close in at all. And Marcus, I'm conscious that I've got to go off and do.
Yeah, Mike,
I've got to go and do something else. But yeah. I've been. You know what? This is great. I'm loving. I'm gonna say this because I saw it and it said, please do like, share, and subscribe. This is the real talk, real United talk. Sunday.
I have to kick you out, don't I?
No, I can leave.
You can leave.
I can
actually.
I can. I'll see you later. Later.
Get out of here. Right, guys. Just us. Right, so here we go. We're going to wrap up then. I want to know, everyone who's watching, what were your thoughts? Honest thoughts. Are you disappointed? Are you chuffed we got the point? Do you think we should have got more? Pankar says the games are coming thick and fast now. It will be now, Pankar's, what with the Europa League and one of the cups that was still, I can't forget which one it is now. Red Devil says Bruno and Pogba have to start against Sheffield United and for the rest of the season. Do you know what, Red Devil? I'm going to say I agree with that. I do think it was right for him to be on the bench tonight. I don't think he should have walked straight back into that side. But I'm quite encouraged by what I saw, the link-up play between the two. FA Cup. Cheers, Mark. I'm quite encouraged by what I saw. The movement was good. I gotta say, I'm a tad disappointed because our fitness levels should be pretty good. We've had a couple of 11-11 games, between the under 21s or whatever it is in the first team, and then we've had that pre-match warm-up against West Brom. I already thought United would play at a bit of a quicker tempo than what I saw tonight, but in their defence, they did kick it up a notch in the second half. So I'm a little disappointed about the first half, but the second half made up for it because we did make a few chances, albeit maybe not the right decisions on how they were taken, but it's there, and we've seen how Pogba can play. And I loved his energy about him tonight. I loved the fact that he was going in for the tackles tonight. I thought Fred was a bit out-muscled in the middle, but he's only a short guy anyway. McTominay, I thought, was a real good driving force again in that engine room, set the tempo a bit in the midfield. I thought it was my man of the match. Well, you lot put in, Pankar says it's not the end of the world. Pankar isn't disappointed. But my man of the match, Red Devil would take a point. I'd take a point as well. I really would. Away at Spurs, first game back, I would have took a point. Yeah, definitely. I really thought, though, we was going to win that game purely because of our energy levels being better than Spurs. But yeah, I'm quite satisfied with the point. My man of the match, do you know what? That's a tough one. That is a tough one to call. I mean, who would be contenders for it? Let's see. I don't really know. I mean, Bruno played the full game, didn't he? Rashford played the full game. Obviously, De Gea, Wamba, Harry Maguire. I don't know. I think if you had to say one, I would probably have to say Bruno, I think. Even though he tired towards the end, but That was understandable. But I think some of the passes, he scored the penalty, but Pogba created the penalty. I will say Bruno for me was man of the match, but it weren't a above and beyond performance at all. I just think everyone was probably about between an average 6 or 7, or maybe a high end 7. But I would say Bruno. I mean, Mark says Bruno Pancars. What do you think? Who's your man of the match? Red Devils here as well. Bounce if you're still around. But let us know in the comments who your man of the match was. And don't forget, drop a like on the video if you like this sort of thing. If you like this, how we're doing it, with a before, middle, and an end. Matic, Pancard, what's the matter with you? I hope you're messing about. But yeah, let us know if you got any ideas, right, about what we can do to make things more interactive. I know Pancard's mentioned earlier about phone-ins. That's coming. That is coming. Once we all get used to the software and we know what we're doing and we're comfortable, that will come. But if you can think of anything else at all that you'd like us to do, or any ideas on how we can improve things, everyone knows our Twitter. Just leave a comment on the video because we all look at the comments anyway, and we'll try and make this as most interactive as we can. Red Devil says Fred maybe if he played all game, but probably Bruno over the course of the whole match. Yeah, I think so, Red Devil. Yeah, I think that's spot on. I mean, I think over the whole course of the game, I don't think really anyone could argue about Bruno, to be honest. I mean, it just wasn't. It didn't feel to me like a proper competitive Premier League game. Whether that's because the stadiums are empty or no one's fully fit yet or flying into full-blooded tackles yet, I don't know. But time will tell how we go. But it's as the comment said, Pancard says he made some important interceptions. Pancard, he was only on for about 10 minutes, wasn't he? But yeah, like I said, if anyone's got any ideas, any things we can do better, anything at all that can help us, it'll be much appreciated. Just put a comment down, get in touch with me, get in touch with Ross or Rodney. There's plenty of ways to get in touch with us, and we'll do our best, and we will get back to you as well eventually. All right. So hope you enjoyed this. Hope the quality is good enough. Hope you all have a great weekend. I'm gonna try and get around to playing The Last of Us 2. So hopefully you enjoyed the game and everything's gone perfect and your weekend's not ruined now because we got a result. To be fair, crowd noises were good. Do you know what, Pancard? I watched the highlights of Wednesday's games, and I just didn't feel it, mate. I just didn't feel it, and tonight watching it, I don't know. It's not the same. Not the same without fans. Still doing a show Sunday. Yeah, mate. Yeah, every Sunday. Every Sunday. So I mean, if you've got 5-10 minutes to spare over the weekend, see if you can think of something that we can do or we can improve on, or anything. We're looking into. I hate to use the word, but we're looking into doing watch-alongs. It's just it's finding the right way to do it, because we want to do something that's unique, different, and will set us apart from the rest. So it's all, I mean, don't forget, we've only been doing this now. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4 shows. So over the course of 3 weeks. So it's a learning process for us all. Word will get around eventually. So hopefully you'll enjoy it anyway, because I'm babbling. So I've got to go. All right. But thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for your comments. Drop a like on the video. Share the channel, and let's make this as good as it can be. All right. Speak to you later.